And welcome into another edition of Siena Saints Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Demos. In just a moment, we'll be joined by senior field hockey player Brittany Moran, but first, let's take a look at the week that was in Siena athletics. We'll make it 10 in a row now for women's soccer. The Saints scored 2 goals in the first 17 minutes yesterday en route to their 2-1 win over St. Peter's. Caitlin Cahalan and Lindsay Tagus both found the back of the net in the first half, and Siena outshot the Peahens 17-9 on the day. They are still the only undefeated and untied women's soccer team in the nation at 10-0 and now 2-0 as well in the MAC, and their season continues with home games against Loyola and Ryder this weekend. Meanwhile, the men's soccer team stumbled this week, falling 2-0 to Vermont and tying UMass at 2 apiece. The Saints led the Minutemen 2-0 late, but UMass managed 2 unanswered goals late in the second half. The Saints' lone game this week is the conference opener on Saturday when they host Marist in a 1 o'clock tilt. In volleyball action, the Saints split 2 matches this week. They fell in 5 sets at Loyola, but used a 7-ace performance from Elizabeth Ives in a 3-1 win at Ryder. The Saints host Manhattan Saturday before traveling Sunday to Marist. Shifting to the links, the men's and women's golf teams were off this week, but a congratulations goes out to the Saints' Catherine Shomo, who was named the MAC Women's Golfer of the Month. The women will tee it up with UAlbany on Sunday, while the men travel to Yukon for a 2-day tournament next Monday. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams were in action at this week's Paul Short Invitational at Lehigh. The women placed 35th, while the men checked in 39th. Both teams are off this week and return to action on October 16th for the UAlbany Invitational. Men's tennis went 1-2 this week, losing to UConn 7-0 and Holy Cross 4-3, but they did win a MAC match against Ryder 6-1. Meanwhile, the women stayed perfect on the young season, moving to 3-0 with a 7-0 win over Ryder Saturday. The men finished their fall season Saturday against Wagner, while the women play a 2-day tournament at Marist this weekend. Finally, the field hockey team dropped both of its games this week. They lost on Tuesday at 17th ranked UAlbany, and then yesterday dropped a 1-0 decision to Vermont. The team is young, just 2 seniors. We're fortunate to have one of them in studio right now as midfielder Brittany Moran joins us. And Brittany, great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Well, Brittany, we mentioned yesterday you guys played a whole lot better against Vermont. A tough 1-0 loss, a close game, but I know you said you were encouraged by that result. What did you see out there on the field that made you so encouraged?
I think yesterday we were connecting much better as a team on the field and playing together. We had a lot more offensive opportunities out there, so I think that's more encouraging going into conference play this weekend.
Talk a little bit about the team improvement. We mentioned the offense coming through, got a bunch of corners and shots. As it kind of got into that part of the year where the team is now kind of settling in and finding an identity?
I think so. I think with getting more offensive opportunities, it makes the defense and midfield more looking forward to playing games and like getting the ball up there to get those shots off.
I know we did a piece with you earlier in the year, and we mentioned, you look up walking wounded in the dictionary, and there's a picture of Brittany Moran. How many injuries and surgeries have you had in your 3.5, almost 4 years now at Siena?
Well, in 4 years I've had 4 surgeries. I've had 2 of the surgeries while I've been here and 2 in my senior year of high school. So I've had my 2 hip surgeries, but this year I feel really strong and I've been playing every game, so it looks pretty good for me for the 1 more month of the season.
So in case you're keeping the tally at home on hip surgeries, it's now tied. Gino Turchi 2 and Brittany Moran 2. Knock on wood, though. No more for you, though.
I know.
But that's got to be hard, though, with all the injuries. But you've been able to pretty much play just about every game the last 4 years. From a mental standpoint, is it just something you're used to playing hurt, or how do you keep yourself motivated that, okay, I'm not feeling great today, but you know what, I'm going to still go out and play?
I think a lot has to do with the support I get from my team and my coaches and the fact that I love field hockey and I'm not going to be able to play this after college, so I just fight through the pain to be able to make it through the games.
Siena Field Hockey senior midfielder Brittany Moran, our guest on this week's edition of Siena Saints Weekly. And Brittany, it probably seems to you like you guys have been on the road forever. You've had a lot of road games this year, but you return home this weekend, Friday against St. Louis. And then on Sunday, you open conference play at Bryant. But as far as coming home, I know you guys have got to be excited to be back home at Siena Turf Field playing St. Louis Friday.
Yeah, we're really excited because, like you said, we've been away for a long time, but we just had although we had 2 losses in the past 2 games, we played very well against 2 top teams, so we think coming into this weekend, we should look to perform and hopefully bring home some wins.
Now, from a record standpoint, I know it's not exactly what you would like it to be, but obviously the most important thing is conference play. The field hockey team plays in the Northeast Conference in the first game Sunday, so to be peaking at this time now for the start of league play, just talk about what you've said to your teammates and in preparations. Okay, we haven't had the best start, but we're first place in the conference right now and still have a lot of time to decide this.
Yeah, I think a lot of the games we've played up until now have been a lot harder than what we would see in conference, so I think playing those tough games now is just only going to prepare us and make us stronger to get into conference, and I think everyone's looking forward to that because we had played so well yesterday and everyone's just waiting to get back on the field on Friday.
All right, we'll do a little rapid fire now with Brittany, maybe like a little quick lift shot off a corner or something you could call it. Do you have a favorite field hockey player, either semi-pro or pro, that you follow?
Not really. I don't really follow
How about
field
at
hockey
Siena,
pro.
maybe a past player?
I don't know. That's a hard question.
It's always hard questions. It's like 60 minutes here.
I can't think.
We'll come back to that.
Sorry.
Funniest member on your team?
The freshmen have been really funny this year. I would have to say either Beth Myers or Corey. They're pretty funny little kids.
Yeah, they always seem to keep us going. I remember that trip I took with
Yeah,
you guys. That was interesting.
Very entertaining.
One thing you wish people knew about you, but don't?
Probably about my 4 surgeries, because I feel like if you see me playing, people don't expect me to have had 4 surgeries in 4 years.
The bionic woman. Any superstitions you have before going out on the field?
No, I'm not a very superstitious person.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
Probably have to be peanut butter.
Like
peanut
a
butter
meal
sandwich.
lot.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say just peanut butter.
Peanut butter sandwich. I also love chicken parmesan.
All right. One song listening to before the game, pump you up. What would it be?
I'd have to say Dynamite by Tayo Cruz lately.
Favorite TV show?
Friends.
Yes,
It's my favorite
definitely
show.
got enough Friends on that bus, right? I think we saw all 8 seasons on there.
Yeah,
favorite
that's my
movie?
favorite. Favorite movie. I'd have to say Finding Nemo.
Wow.
Go back to Disney movies.
We know Coach Davidson's famous for his quotes. Any that you can share with us, or is that something we have to do off camera?
That's a team in-house thing. I think we keep his fun quotes to ourselves.
Yeah, Coach Davidson, definitely very prophetic. And finally, the player you relate to best on the team?
I'd have to say probably Rachel, because we play so close on the field, so we've been connecting well on the field, I would say.
Well, Brittany, we thank you for joining us today. Best of luck the rest of the year and stay healthy out there.
I'll try. Thank you.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of Siena Saints Weekly. Again, a reminder to join us next week when Andrew Champagne will make his debut as the show's new host, so looking forward to that. But for Brittany Moran and our entire crew, my name is Mike Demos. We'll see you again next week for another edition of Siena Saints Weekly.